Right, hi everyone. This is a quick video. Well, I say quick, I don't know how long it's going to take. This is a video of Advanced Locomotion System for integrating with Ultimate Shooter Kit. Right, so ALS4, yeah, it's quite popular. I like it myself, and Ultimate Shooter Kit is reasonably new. But the inventory is great and the shooting dynamics and everything, and I know a lot of people will like to use it. It's important to say that Advanced Locomotion System ALS4 is free on the marketplace, but Ultimate Shooter Kit isn't. It's a paid product, so you need to have bought that to be able to do this. But presumably if you haven't bought it, you wouldn't be watching this video. But that's important to say because it's great and someone's put a hell of a lot of work into it to make it into this excellent product. So yeah, that needs purchasing from the Unreal Marketplace. Okay, with that said, let's crack on. Now, I've weighted this towards ALS4 for what I'm actually doing. What do I mean by that? I mean that I've created an ALS4 project, so I've gone to the library, new project, ALS4, and then I've created another new project called Ultimate Shooter Kit, and I've opened that up, and then I've right-clicked on Migrate, and I've migrated that into the ALS4 project, because primarily we're going to be using ALS4, and then we're going to be using Ultimate Shooter Kit for just the bits that we need. And there's loads of ways of doing this. You can parent the USK player to the ALS player and things like that. But I'm going to show you probably the quickest and simplest way of getting most of the functionality in there. But, you know, as I say, there's loads of ways of doing this. So let's start. So yeah, as I prefer it like that. The only other thing I've done is, I guess in project settings, I have copied so in the config folder of both projects, in the USK project, I've gone into the config folder and I've looked in default input INI and copied the action mappings and the access mappings into the ALS4 default input INI in its config folder, just so we've got them all over it. Now, if you know, when you're doing this, some of these are duplicated, so you need to sort this out. But for the speed of this video, I'm not going to do any of that. I've actually added a couple of extras in interact and reload, but we'll come to those in a minute. So the first thing, where should we start? There's loads of places you can start. Right, first thing I'm going to do is let's open the other map. Where is that? In here, in maps, in test level. Cool. Now if we run this, we should get the default USK, and that works fine. Great. What am I going to do first? What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in maps and modes, and I'm going to change this because I'm going to open and close this a few times and it's getting annoying. So I'm going to make that USK level the default level for this. The other thing I'm going to do is go into game mode, and I'm going to change this to the ALS game mode. We'll leave that as it is for a minute. The HUD I'm going to change to shooter HUD. The ALS controller will leave. Yeah, everything else will leave, and that'll be good. So now we should be using the Anim. If you press play, you'll notice that we're not. And the reason for that is this level is overridden. So in world settings, we've got a game mode override. So we need to change that to none. That'll get you stuck for a while if you don't know that. So now we've got the Anim Man. Here he is, and he's great. But if we walk up here, he won't know anything about any of this, and we'll get lots of errors. That's good. At least we know he's interacting. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to go into ALS4. I'm going to go into blueprints. I'm going to go into character logic, and I'm going to duplicate the Anim Man. Now you can, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I like to do it to keep the original one safe. And some people, including me actually, also duplicate the base character as well if you want to. Then you've always got the ALS untouched versions if you want to, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to change this one. But if you did do that, if we open him up, we need him open anyway, you'd have to remember that in class settings you'd want to change this parent class to whatever you'd called your copy of the base character. Now, so now we've got him, we can go in here and change our default one to my character. There we go. Right, we're all good. So what else do we need? We need the character from USK, don't we? So here he is. And I'm actually going to put him that way around because I'll prefer it that way around. Right, good, excellent. We're on track. So now we need to basically pull the bits out of this character and put them into this character. So first things, class settings. What have we got in here? Oh, we've got an interface, pawn interface. So we need to go into class settings in here and add the pawn interface. Like such. There we go. Good. Now we're going to find that there's things in here that aren't in the other one. So let's start with relevance checker. We don't, well, I say we don't. I don't need it, but you might. So I'll copy that and I'm just going to paste that in there. And what relevance checker does is it's mostly for networking. So it works with the scale of the 3D world. And within, if you're doing multiplayer, you can say what distance certain things are replicated to. So instead of replicating everything in your multiplayer scenario, you can just replicate everything up to so many Unreal units. So it's for performance. But I'm gonna copy it across. So in the construction script, there's this first bit in here that we need. So we need to go into our ALS construction script and replicate that. I need a bit of space. We're going to come back in here later. I should say that when I do my blueprints, I love them to be incredibly neat, but for the purpose of this video not taking forever, I'm not going to try not to. So you can make your blueprints much tidier than mine, and I normally would do. Right, so that's relevance checker. Now we just need to do all the rest of these things. So I'm just going to copy their names because I want them to be the same. So Control C, shooter component, bang, add component, shooter. There it is. Rename it, bump, Control V, bang, one done. Sway, Control C, over in our ALS character, sway, won't be anything else called that, I doubt. No, V, bang. Next one, timer component. Let's copy that, copy the name, sorry. So this one's called timer, boom. Oh, and it goes, Control V to make the name the same. And the last one is health. Copy the name, in here, add component, health. In it goes, Control V, boom, bang. Save all, so we don't lose anything. Good. Next up, interfaces. We will have some new interfaces in here. Here we go, and we will have added the interfaces in here, obviously, because that's where they come from. So, request movement input. Okay, ALS character, request movement input. Not there. We don't have movement input, and it's no good using the USK one. So, we need to. Oh, perfect. In ALS, there is one called request movement input. It's a little bit different because it needs to have its nodes joined together. But essentially, that'll do. That'll work. Compile, no errors. Brilliant. We're on our way. Right, what's the next one then? Luckily, I mean, some of these integrations can take forever. This one shouldn't take too long. Control C. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause this video at any point, and but otherwise we'll be here all day. Which one we're on? Lean values. I'm not actually using them in this video, but you might want to. So we need to copy them across. This is for the USK lean, which twists the body and does a camera work as well. Alright, so the quickest way of doing this then is to compile. None of them exist, so we just right click, create variable, right click, create variable, right click, create variable. That will have made them in variables, funnily enough, which is a good thing. One thing I am going to do, even though I said I was going to whiz through this and not do it to my usual detail, but I do want to do this just because it's a personal bug of mine. So I just like it to be neat down here, otherwise we can't find anything if we need to later on. Compile, boom, no errors, brilliant. Save all, because I'm paranoid. You don't have to if you don't want it. Be it on your head. Right, lean values is done. Looks like it's it, but it's not, because we've got this little category, look. So we've got a few in here. Get pawn mesh. We won't have that in here, that's for sure. Get here. But that is literally just the mesh. It's a reference to the pawn's mesh. So that's easy. Recoil values. So let's copy all three of these, because you'll see this speeds things up. You know, I'm bound to miss something because I'm going too quick, but I'm confident that we can fix it if I do. He says. Let's delete that, and that's wireless altogether. Yaw goes to yaw, pitch goes to pitch, and that's annoying me. You have to straighten that. And success is ticked. I think that matches. Yes, it does. Compile. No, oh yeah, of course. So same, right click, create, right click, create. Down in the bottom of here, because I like neatness, we're going to categorize these little fellas so we can find them if we need to. That's better. Right, so we did that one. Play defaults. I'm not going to bother with play defaults. Play defaults is the play defaults in play defaults, mostly for USK camera setup and that sort of stuff, and we're not using that, so I'm going to miss that out. If you need to use that, you need to go in there, look at all them and recreate them too, but we don't need them for this today. So that's player pawn done. Attach item. I need to look at it in here. Oh well, okay. Well, that's not too bad. I've seen worse. Control V. I press then. Control C. There we go. Oh, need a bit more space here, don't we? Hang on. Let's break. Link. Pull this down here. Pop this here. That's it. And the other end. Where's it gone? The other end's at the other end. Wants to be connected to that, and that needs to be connected to that. Compile, lots of errors, we'd expect that, so we need to do it again. Remember, create the variable. I think it's this one as well. Create the variable. Then locate actor, bump in there. And hang on, where's child actor? Didn't I do that? I thought I did. What? It's the component. So, you see, I'm vindicated. This is why you should do it, because I don't want that in there. I want that in my category. See, that's why it's important. There we go. Compiled and save all. Good. Right. Was that all of them? No, I think we missed one, didn't we? Destroy. That's easy. Control C. Where's it gone in here? Yeah. Just do that. Control V. Right, now I could do this all at once without playing the game, but let's just play the game in between so we can see how far we've got. So hopefully, I'm just going to run it up and press escape. Right, no errors, that's always a bonus. But I suspect we still haven't got any clue about what's going on over here. Nor have we got an inventory. I mean, we've got the HUD from ALS going on and off, but the inventory at the bottom there isn't working. And we will get errors. That's okay though, we don't need to worry about that for now. So inventory is all done in the what do you call it? Player controllers. So Ultimate Shooter Kit is in Framework, I think. Yes. So there's that one. And where on earth is it in ALS? I think it's in Character Assets. No. Blueprints. Character Logic. Yes. Cool. Right, loads more in ALS than there is in Shooter, as you'd expect. So, same again. Class settings. Controller interface. Class settings. Controller. There we go. And there. Save that. Good. Have we got anything in here? Yes, of course we have. Inventory component. So Control C. In ALS. Inventory. I didn't even need to spell, which is definitely a bonus. Right, inventory component. Right, we'll have interfaces again, won't we? Interaction type. These haven't got anything in them, but that's fine. Not too complicated looking. That one. Okay, so inventory component. Shall we start with that? Now we just need to drag that in basically and wire that up. That one's done. The next one was this one, which doesn't have that variable, but that's fine because we're an expert at this now, aren't we? So Control C, Control V, pop that in there, compile it, might work, but of course we know. Whoop, create variable. There we go. Bump. I should have a category, shouldn't it? But anyway, I'm sure you're fed up with me doing that by now, so I'll leave that. And then we've got one more, which is basically using that as a set. And we just need to plumb that in like that. And I'm pretty sure that was ticked in the other one. Yes. Yes. Compile. Good. Right, have we got anything in the construction script? No, that's okay then. But we will have in the event graph. Oh, I'm in the wrong one anyway. Construction script, no, that's good. Event graph, yes. Okay, there's a couple of things here then. So first of all, oh yeah, let's just do it this way. You'll want to do this differently because you won't want both of these HUDs popping up. But just for speed again, we'll plug them into the same hard-coded, oh, didn't mean to do that, tab key, and that's okay, but you'll want to probably disconnect this so you don't get the ALS one, unless you want it, of course. And then on possess, we need this to, didn't get the node, Control C. Where can we plug that in? Yeah, we need all that. Okay, so let's just do a little move around in here. This wants to be much longer. Oh, it's okay there. And this, oh, chuck that up there. Apologies for that. Right, let's paste in. Wasn't that big. Sometimes when you paste things in, it messes things up, so I like to paste them into a bit of clear space. But anyway, yeah, good. Right. So the only thing is, oh, that was from the other graph, so we'll get rid of that. We'll put another reroute node in here. And then we'll pop that up there. You can space this all out better than me. And it annoys me because I like it to be neat. But anyway, for speed, that'll do. Right, possess pawn, target, target, target. Everything's fine. Compile. Save. Right, what have we got now then? Escape. No errors. That's good news. Play again. Ah, perfect. It now knows that the inventory is there. But also, if we press tab, yeah, we'll see that inventory is popping up. That's good news. Good. Oh, hang on. Not so good. Wait, blendables. Site. Post. Oh, because we're not. Okay. We're not using the USK camera, and there's a bit of material highlighting going on. You can recreate all that if you want to. For now, I'm going to unplug that because we're not using that camera. And I will. You should do this too. Well, you don't have to, but I'm just going to say it's deleted in there. Technically, it's not deleted, but it is unplugged. Make that red so that you will know that you did that. Good. Let's play again. Now we should get the same. We won't see the post process anyway because we haven't got it on that camera, but now good. No errors. Wow, marvellous. Right. Well, it's working, isn't it? No, because we can't pick anything up. Right, I can't pick anything up because it doesn't know how to. So let's go into the event graph and where are we? Somewhere in here. There'll be, because I'm in the event graph, not the player input graph. That'll be why. Yeah, well, straight away, look, request information. So I'm going to take that. Now, interestingly, here's the first thing. Remember that that's hard-coded to F, and I don't like that. So when we looked at my project settings and my input, I'd added a couple of new ones, interact and reload. So let's pop them in. So if we go interact there, and then if we pop that in there, now one thing I am definitely going to do here is create a comment. Now I tend to use a colour orange because generally people don't use orange for some reason. I think it goes nicely with black, but hey ho. So the reason for that is that you can easily see when you're in a graph stuff that you've added in. And I normally put my initials and stuff in here, but for now we'll just do ALS, USK. You can put what you like it, but yeah, I like to do that. So then when you pop into a graph, you think, oh, orange, I did that bit. It's just a personal thing. So interact is now in, which is good news. So let's go and play it, see what that did. Wow, we can now pick a gun up. How exciting. But unfortunately the gun's by our feet, which isn't so good. So next step is to make that gun not be by our feet. I'm just trying to think, do we need the controller anymore? Boom, boom, boom. Don't think we do. Don't think we do. We'll close them just for neatness. Leave the characters open so we don't get confused where we're at. Now we need to find skeletons. So in ALS4, let's doesn't matter, but let's start with all the shooter kit. Mannequin mesh. Yeah. Now there is a socket you'll need called grip point, and there is. Right, so there's several ways of doing this, but the easiest way probably is just to copy the selected socket. And then in our ALS character, character, skeleton, we haven't got that socket. Right, so where was it? So grip point was, if we look over here in details, grip point is in hand right. So we need to find the right hand here in the ALS skeleton and paste sockets to selected bone. And then if we go to grip point, we'll find that it's there. Now these numbers are wrong. This determines where the gun is going to sit in the hand. Now I'm going to cheat here. I cheated there. I went into another project that I've got to get this thing. So if you want to pause the video and put these numbers into your grip point socket location and rotation, you'll end up with the gun where I've got mine. Now you don't have to have it where I've got mine, but as you'll see, I think it's about in the right place. So save that, back into the level, play. We should now see that the gun is in the hand, not in the feet, and the hand is about wrapped round correctly. But you can just move that grip point around if you're not happy. But of course he can't aim or anything because ALS has states. So if I press Q, what we need is pistol state. But we don't have to press that every time. So there's a couple of things here. And when we go into that state, we get the little yellow. Let's go into first person. You'll see the yellow standard ALS pistol. So let's do two things. Let's get rid of that, and that can be done in the function in the ALS character. Held object, update held object. Now this is a quick way of doing it. Pistol 1H loads up a skeletal mesh called M9. So if we take that to none and compile it, you'll want to sort this out properly if you're using a project that you're going to use for something, because you don't need all this lot running. But for now, quickest way of doing it. And if we quickly run our thing again and we run over here, we pick that weapon up. Now when we go into 1H, we won't get the yellow gun. But interesting, if we go into 2H, we will. Because, as you might have noticed, in here, these are all separate. So 2H is also loading M9. But anyway, you can play with that if you want to. The other thing that I wanted to do then was the held object. The overlay state we want to change automatically. So that will be in attach new item. And basically what attach new item does in USK is it brings in so we have a child actor that we hide until we've connected it to the right socket. We do some other stuff and then we make it visible. So if we break into this about here, I'm going to cheat again, so I'm back. So here's one I prepared earlier. I will do something for you in a second. Oh, let me just get that there and zoom in a bit for you. So if you want to pause the video, you need to create this, which is easy. It's just basically the item data table. Break out. So you pull that out and go break that out. And then you would use the row name, which is a name, needs to convert it to a string. Switch on string. And if it's pistol, it's going to change this overlay state in ALS to 1H for us. That's all it does. So we pop that in here and wire that up to there and wire that up to there. And obviously, and then you can straighten all this stuff out. And like I keep saying, I keep saying I'm not going to do it, but it bugs me, so then I have to do it. And you can, add more pins. So if it's rifle, it does something else, or whatever you want to do. Or you can make more logic in here to change it all around, but that'll do for this demonstration. So now the difference will be when we pick it up, it'll automatically go into 1H, so we can aim. There we go. Perfect. So aim, fire. Nothing happens. Of course it doesn't know how to fire, does it? So back in here. Shoot. Right, now we need this. And there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And you can have a look and see what it all does. But for the sake of this video, all I'm going to do is steal this bit. And I'm going to go in here. And if you remember, we made our little box. And then back in here, I'm just going to steal that input action. because that one was an impact and that was already set up. And then we're going to press. We're going to tell it it's pressed. That's important. Don't miss that bit out. Power and I save and run. Now we should be able to fire. Now I haven't got any sound turned on because I'm recording my voice, but trust me, when I'm pressing fire now, I'm getting that horrible dry fire sound, which definitely needs replacing, that sound. And it's dry firing because it hasn't got any, we haven't got any ammo, have we? We're going to the inventory, we've got the pistol, but we haven't got any ammo. So we can pick up ammo. Let's pick up a couple. And now we'll notice in inventory we have got ammo. But if we do reload, nothing happens because we haven't done that bit. So we now need to find reload, which conveniently I think is here. So reload's connected to R. Remember, I don't like that. So I put in another one, didn't I, called reload. Reload. And if you're getting lost here, if you remember, I don't like the hard-coded keys, so in my project settings I added another one called reload that was connected to R, and all I've done is reference that in here and connected up my reload event. Why don't I just leave these things alone? Anyway, yeah, so that's now reloading. So this is good, isn't it? We're really getting there now. Right, if we play this now, we should get a reload. Right, oh, well, I've got ammo. Right, so we can dry fire, reload, boom. Nothing's happening. Why is that? Ah, of course it's not happening because. Right, now we get to the bit where if you haven't been paying any attention, you really need to now. So the way that USK works is it has a linked anim graph, which means that you can link in to something else if you want to do it this way. So in our case, ALS, we can link into the anim graph of USK from within ALS. And because we haven't done that, when this is now just called the reload, it's going, I don't even know where that is. So what am I supposed to do? So although we've got the reload here working, this event can't do anything because all the animations are not there. So here we go. Are you ready? The way I like to do this is firstly make a couple of folders. Now I'm going to call this anim other. That will all become apparent soon. And I'm going to make another one called anim overlay. Okay, so firstly in mannequin we've got all these animations. I'm going to filter by animation. I'm going to remove blueprint, so we've only got the animations. I don't actually think there are any blueprints in there anyway, but best practice again. Control A. I'm going to right click, retarget anim, duplicate that and retarget. So we want the ALS skeleton. I'm going to use a suffix of other. You know, this will become apparent later on why that's extremely important. And we're going to put it in anim other. Okay, so we've got that other, anim other, retarget into ALS, retarget. Thank you. Important to save. It's even told you to do so. Take the filter off. Don't need that anymore. What we do need is, in blueprints, we've got the shooter overlay anim, and we also need to retarget that. Similar thing. So we've got that one there. This suffix is just going to be ALS, so I can tell the difference between the two, and I'm going to chuck that in the overlay folder. Boom, retarget. Bang, done, file, save all. So that's good news. So we've retargeted everything. So now we've got the anim graph. Where do we go from here? Right, okay, so now we need to go into the anim graph of Advanced Locomotion System, which is in look at, yes, anim graph. Well, there's a few things to do in here. But the basics of it are, we're going to, so standard, all the ALS stuff happens in here, and in, well, most of it, and it produces an output pose. We want to interrupt that, so we want to break that link. And we're going to do a cached pose in here, and we're going to call it, I don't know, ALS underscore cached pose. That sounds good, doesn't it? So basically what we've done is we've cached the pose at this point, and in fact if we just did this, that's basically what was happening before. So we've cached at this point, we've then told it to use that cache pose in this way. We don't want to do that, we want to do a few things. Now, what's really cool, so you right click and do linked graph, linked anim graph, and we can choose that one that we had, BP, ALS, bump. And there's a few things we need to expose in here, one of which is input. Movement input is moving in air. Now we've got to find these. Movement is the one in ALS. Yes, not quite the same, but it will do. Have we got an is moving? Is moving. Yes, we do, and we lucked out on that one. And have we got an in air? I know we haven't, but we do have a jumped. Not sure that works as well. Possibly does. Doesn't matter for this video, but you might want to relook at that. But we'll do it for now. It doesn't make any difference. This inwards needs the ALS cached pose in there, and outwards we're going to do USK. Cached pose. Oh, hang on, new cached pose. USK cached pose. Good. Now, I've done something, I've missed a step that's extremely important. In this linked graph, there's a tag. If the tag is missing, it will never find it. So we need to find out what that tag is. And the easiest way of doing that is if we go back to the error and we work out where that error was, lo and behold, here's the tag it was looking for. So we need to copy that. Shooter overlay, you don't have to do that bit, you can just type shooter overlay in, but it must match. So I always find it easier just to paste that. So that's there. Now then, if all we wanted to do was use the USK cached pose, which basically goes into USK and uses that part of its graph, we'd do this. We don't want to do this, but I'll show you what happens if we do. Because this is the point, whereas if you want to do something different to what I'm doing, this is where you'll do it. So if we go in here now and pick this up, I haven't done any of the animations properly, so he's looking a bit odd. But the top half of his body is now looking at the USK graph, and the bottom half is still using ALS. So, too much for this video, we'll be here all day, but this is how you do it. So if you want to link that graph and you want to do more stuff, that's where you do it. We don't want to do that. Well, we kind of do, but we only want to use it for reloading at the moment, remember? So I need a variable called, I don't know, what should we call it? Is reloading a big good one, wouldn't it? Is reloading USK. Boom. Where do we plug that in? Well, we need to know it all the time, so it needs to go in the update graph, conveniently in the update graph, we've got update character info. Conveniently in update character info, we've got a sequence. Add another pin. This is where I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, reason I paused was, here's one I prepared earlier. And again, you can pause the video and recreate this bit at your end. So I was pausing there because I was wanting to make sure I'd made this variable the same. I mean, it will just error if I didn't, but right, we need to plug that in there. Well, that's all we need to do. Right, cool. We didn't let so it's no problem. We just swap it. You won't have got that wrong, so you won't need to do this. I hope. Only human after all. So right. So then back in the anim graph, wherever that's gone, here, I'm going to pause again, actually, because save me typing it all. Right, I'm back again. So you'll need to let me just sort this out. You'll need to do what I just did. So basically where you were with the cache poses, just make sure I call them the same. I did USC linked cache, which is slightly different, but that doesn't matter. So you can call these what you like, but you have to make sure that you've used them in the right places. But if you copy that, and of course we know that's not going to work because I got the renaming of that wrong. So whatever you called your reloading boolean, you need to be there. Whatever you called this needs to go here and here, and whatever you called this needs to go here and also no, actually no, it needs to be joined like that. So right, what are we doing? So we cached the ALS here, we plumbed it in here, and we linked it to the graph to produce a USK linked cache at the end. We put these variables in, that's all easy. And what we're saying here is we're using a blend posed by Boolean, and we're saying that if we are reloading is true, we're going to use the USK out of here from the linked, and if we're not reloading, we're just going to use straight through like we did before. ALS standard. Now what that has done, I hope, is if we play now, we'll only get the breakout when we're reloading. So if we grab some ammo, what did I grab? Yeah. And now I go to reload, boom, it's now reloading and back to ALS. So reload from USK back to ALS. Now the reason he's not animating properly is because we then need to go, nearly done, into Ultimate Shooter Kit. Oh god, mannequin, yeah, animations, no, no we don't, we need to go in blueprints, data tables, weapons, pistol, animation setup. Now there's quite a few in here, but you'll see something clever in a second. Not that clever, but as clever as it gets. Let's expand these all out, because you'll see there's lots of animations to change, but it won't take long because we did something earlier. We used that suffix, if you remember, of other. The important thing there is now, so we've got all these animations to change, blend spaces and things, but if we just pop that down, underneath that one will be the other one. So literally just pop down here and use the same one, but make sure it's the other version. See what I did there? Other. I'm getting lost. Other. I'll take your time over this, but I'm confident that the worst thing that's going to happen is the animation's not going to play properly. Okay, good. I think they're all blue, which is ALS. Save. save all. Yeah, get rid of that data table. Now, right, let's hope. Pick up the gun. Can aim. Dry fire. You can't hear it, but I can. Pick up some ammunition. Reload. Reload animation, but also the value at the bottom there has gone up because in the reload animation there's a notify event which basically as the animation plays it notifies USK that reloading has happened, and so therefore we can increase the bullets, and now we can fire. Wonderful. There you go. You've integrated, and that's as far as I'm going to go, but I will just say, let's see if I can recreate something that will keep you annoyed for a long time if I don't show you it. So mantling, there you go. Now why has that happened? I'll tell you why that's happened. It's happened because if I jump left, not a problem. But what happens is the character is always checking to see whether there's anything it can climb up on. And if I go right, sometimes it thinks it can climb up on the gun, with some very interesting effects. Right, so in actually no, we need to go into our base character in ALS4 blueprints, character logic, and this is where we need the base. Because in here, in the functions, we've got something called mantle system, and we've got a function called mantle check. Conveniently, where it traces for the channel to climb, we need to tell it not to climb on anything that is a child. And actually, I paused again then because we needed, what you should do in your project is set up these channels as well. So in project settings, if you type in channel, there's trace channels that the ALS ones set up, but there'll be probably be some USK ones. I don't know, but there probably will be. So you just need to, if you open your USK project up that you used as a donor, just go into the project settings in there and see if there's any channels you need to set up. Anyway, back to our problem. So we need actors to ignore. So we're lucky because get all child actors comes from Unreal Engine, which is handy because we can just plug that in there. Compile that. Save it. Now when we play, and I've got the gun, if I jump right, it's ignoring that gun and it's not going all over the place. It's not trying to climb up on the pistol in my hand. Good. There's one last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to pause for a second. You won't notice the pause, I hope. Right, and I'm back. I'm sure you didn't notice anything. I just paused there because I wanted to just put something else in the project. Modular Soldier. I haven't used it for ages, but it's on the asset store. And something that's asked all the time is how you do this with ALS. And it's easy. So any modular character that you've got. So let's close these things out of the way. So all we need is our ALS character. And zoomed in a long way, isn't it? Or zoomed out a long way. Right, here he is. Woo! Here he comes. Right. Now, how do you do this? It's actually very, very simple. So the way ALS works is it's got a mesh, and it's got visible message, and it's got body mesh. Body mesh at the moment is blank in the visible meshes. It's kind of give you a clue of how it works. In a construction script, we have something in here, and if we move mesh above, because that stays the same, everything else you want to add, you add into target. So if we go back to here and we pop something into body mesh, sorry, let's go and have a look for an interesting mesh. Let's go, well, it doesn't matter which one we pick. Jacket, gloves, jacket, sleeve. I haven't used this for a while. Or jacket 01 will do. Doesn't really matter, but okay, that's good. But obviously our character's in there. So what we want to do is make the visibility of the mesh to not visible. Now, something very important here. Visibility based animatic. What this basically means is that sometimes when you make stuff invisible, it doesn't animate it because it's like, well, why do I need to bother doing that? You can't see it anyway. So if this isn't on, always tick, refresh bones, you won't see any animation. So if you don't see any animation, it's because of that. So it must be set to that. So not visible, and that must be set like that. And then you'll be good to go. So there we go. Look, we've made our character. And if we go and run it now, it works. But he's looking a bit kind of weird. You might want him like that, I don't know. So to build him up, very simple. So we've done the body mesh. Literally, go and find some other meshes that we want. So what did we have? We had jacket, didn't we? Which is that one, I guess. So in here, the other way of doing it is visual meshes, add component, and it says, do you want to add this one? Yeah, I would, the one I selected. And you probably want to change that to say jacket mesh or something, but for speed, back in the construction script, jacket, bang that in there, pop that in there, compile, back in here. Now I've got a jacket. If we ran it, we'd have a guy with a jacket. So let's really quickly put him together with some pants, trousers, or whatever you want to call them. In he goes with his that, and let's go and grab his shoes, and we'll do another one in there. Okay, good. And in the construction script, we need to put in the rest of his clothes, and you can keep going forever, adding these in if you want to. Did that work? I don't think that did. I've missed the node. There we go. And yeah, you can, so you just keep adding them all in here, however many you've got. And there's your character. That is as simple as it gets. I know lots of people struggle with that, but literally that's how you do it. And now we have him. We've got a different character. How quick and easy was that? Reload animation. And boom, 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 boom. Sorry, I had the firing sound in there because you can't hear it. Anyway, there we go. So that's one way of doing it. Hope it's helped somebody. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks ever so much for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Thanks ever so much. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do, because I'm actually working on a project myself that this is part of. There's, you know, I try and update it regularly. So yeah, if you're interested, please do that too. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye now.